Yeah, very powerful. You can destroy and uncreate a lot of things. You want to destroy and uncreate the need for fluoride in the water?
Yes.
Just fluoride in the water. Everywhere you participated in it, everywhere you allowed it, everywhere you consented to it, this lifetime or any other, consciously or unconsciously. Would you like to destroy and uncreate the willingness to even have fluoride in the water? Me too. Yeah, just that's it. Nix, nullify, cancel, clear, revoke, renounce, denounce, destroy, and create, sent to light to be forever transformed into love and light. Now, I get it, it's a little woo-woo. But understand there's a law of intent, consent, and authority that just heard 50 people, however many there are in here, 40 people, just agreed to that and said, the law of free will is now conscious. These people are no longer consenting to that. Huh. It's counting, it's aware, it's conscious. It's like, well, we have to change that. They've just destroyed and uncreated that. That's not allowed anymore. We have to shift this. It is true that our future will not have fluoride in the water. We will not have that in the water. It's absolutely 100%. For me, it's, if I were to make a psychic prediction, it could call it that, but this is beyond prediction. It's fact. Humans will not tolerate that in the future. It's just that not enough humans have become conscious of it yet, and we haven't learned this greater purpose. Does this make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how's everyone doing? Because now I'm at my hour mark. I wasn't going to talk this long. Do you want to?
That went fast.
I know. I really love talking and sharing this stuff. I love it so much I could go on forever. And you guys gave me like a listening audience. So, but okay, does anyone want to ask, was that helpful to you? About the addictions part, at least a little bit?
You reiterated what I already knew, yes.
The what?
You reiterated what I already knew.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So
Okay, and are you aware that you can clear entities from them?
On the psychological side, yes.
If you
It's
can
just,
go over
again,
that.
it has to be willing. There's still with the willing part.
Yeah, I get it. So the willing part is, when you have someone doing this, I will talk about that. When you have somebody who seems like they're just talking, really, one of the good, I couldn't work at that level. It's so draining and exhausting. But I honor you for being able to do that. It's hard work.
I honor me too.
It's hard work. One of the things you can do is you just say, hey, well, how long do you want to go on with this? How's this working for you? How long do you want to go? Have you tried that?
I've been in the field for a long time.
Okay.
I've said everything and done dances. Right, yeah. Nothing. You don't
All right, I
change
know,
the
because when
person.
someone
you know
gives me a
what I mean? Right.
solution that I've tried, I'm like, please don't talk to me like I'm a 4-year-old. I've been at this business for lifetimes.
No, that's not it. It's just
So-
the idea. I'm saying the same thing you would say.
But then this is where I would go if I were
Right.
you. I would start going within, because that's the ultimate solution. What is it within me that is judging, resisting, and or reacting to this kind of behavior? What is it within me that is entangled or enmeshed with this? Because I'm having a wrestling war with it. If a person is showing up in your life in a repeating pattern over and over again, that means you're in a pattern. And you have not completed your contract or contracts with that experience. What is it I am meant to receive in terms of consciousness so that I can elevate my consciousness? Bless you. What is it within me that's attracting these kinds of clients? What is it that is within me that's stuck at this frequency? And, important follow-up question, very important, how do I shift and change this for the better so that I can align with a higher frequency experience? Because if you're not enjoying that, that's not where you're meant to be anymore. It's not the highest and best use of your time, energy, or love, or service. Because the way I got to do what I'm doing in my life was that I kept going to source. How do I be of service in the highest and best ways possible? The highest and best ways possible that are going to bring the greatest amount of fulfillment and happiness and joy and inspiration to my life and the lives of those I touch.
Right, now I actually just had this conversation in my meditation this morning, so I asked the same questions because the same clients are calling me back.
Right.
I need you to get me in. I need you to see me. I'm like, oh God.
Yes. So when you want to leave something behind and you want a higher kind of vibrational client, right?
Yes.
Because obviously there's sacred contracts with everything we do, everyone we interact with, and the purpose of sacred contracts and agreements for our experiences is so that we can expand our consciousness in some way. And when you're no longer enjoying it, that means you're done.
Right.
If it's not being done in joy and love, you're done. Then therefore, if you're still entangled with it, the question is, what is the gift here for me? What am I meant to receive so that I can be done and complete in the highest and best ways?
Okay.
That's the question. You're asking a question, law of cause and effect. It's going to bring an answer to you eventually, somehow. It's going to come into your consciousness. But the second thing is, you have to look at the whole experience with no non-duality, non-judgment. Over here, there's no judgment.
Right.
There's an acceptance. So over here, it's thank you for the experience. Thank you. I realized my consciousness has expanded. I was able to be of service. I was able to disentangle from this, or whatever gifts you receive. Thank you for this experience. I am done and complete with it. I don't need to wrestle with it anymore. I don't need to judge it anymore. There's no wrongness in it. I have transcended it.
I agree with you, and that's what I've been dealing with all week. Just let me stop judging, and what am I judging? I ask those questions. What am I judging? And also forgiving myself.
Okay, so but what you're judging is now showing up.
Exactly.
So instead of ask what am I judging, which that's not a bad question to ask, say everywhere I'm judging these clients who just perpetually complain, I'm now going to destroy, uncreate, nix, nullify, cancel, clear, revoke, renounce, denounce. Everything it is, and send it to the light, to be forever transformed into love and light, because I just don't want to play judgment anymore. How do I elevate myself to a frequency where I no longer judge these people? I'm simply aligned with compassion. Compassion for them and their plight, and recognize I'm done with that. I don't need it anymore. I would like to have clients who really want to do the work, who really want to do that inner work, who really want to make the progress, who I really can help. Because you go to Source, you're like, hey, this isn't really serving them anymore, and it's not serving me. So, all right, how do I elevate myself to the next frequency of consciousness? Is this making sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
Is that helpful?
It is helpful. I'm not, the confusing part you probably got is that I'm not judging the actual clients that
Right.
has addiction.
You're judging the experience.
No, actually, no, because I understand addiction.
Okay.
I totally understand it.
Coworkers.
You say what?
The coworkers?
No.
Complaining?
No, no. It's I am exhausted from doing this type
Yes.
of work. So I have already asked myself, this is something I'm ready to move on from because I feel like I completed because I can't give any more.
Yes. Okay, good. Well, that is always a surefire sign that you're done with that.
Exactly.
So you're not supposed to be exhausted by what you do. In this reality, everyone's
I'm
exhausted
no longer
and drained.
enjoying. I'm no
Over
longer
here,
en-
you're supposed to be led by your joy.
Right.
So the number one thing is just keep following joy, which I know you know that already. But let's just have source right here and right now. In fact, let's do it for the whole room. Anything going on in your life right now that you need clarity on, or more higher perspective, divine source consciousness on any area of your life. Bring it to your consciousness, and let's have source downloaded and instill source consciousness, source truth, and source point of view, perspective, understanding, and definition into your consciousness. And your consciousness will align with source on this topic area. So everyone's picking up, bring to mind some area of your life where you're maybe conflicted or in a struggle or unclear about. Now let me just, for the purposes, before we actually do the download, when we do the download in the instant moment, typically speaking, you don't really know much happened. Not usually. What happens is, after you walk away, the next day, you're walking the dog, you're taking a shower, light bulb. That's typically how this work works that I do. But anyway, so let's do that for you now, yeah, everybody? So you're just going to take some big breaths. This is really easy. Big, full breaths. And in your mind, you're just going to say, yes, thank you. So the breaths are going to fill up the whole body. And we'll do this more fully in the meditation. This is just a quick one. So you're bringing up whatever it is you want more clarity. You're just bringing it into your mind. You're taking some deep, full, rich, big breaths into the body and surrendering. In your mind, you're saying, yes, thank you. Let's have Source bring consciousness to you. Source's truth, point of view, and PUD. Make your truth one and the same as Source's, as it relates to this topic area. Now you're just noticing whatever you notice. It might be nothing, that's fine. Just a few moments. It's really just a vibrational shift that's happening within your field. Some aspect of consciousness is more fully aligning and integrating into you that's more higher, lighter, purer than where you're currently at this point in linear time. Fully integrating. Nice, good. So simple. So in the moment, maybe you feel a little slightly relaxed, yeah?
Mhm.
But really it's not like you had some big epiphany this moment, but you will. You will. All right, I'm going to go to the entity thing, and then we'll, if there's any other questions, we'll take them, and then we'll take a break, and we'll do the full meditation, yeah? So, but let's say the entity thing. It's very easy to clear entities. The first thing, whenever an entity is around, you want to claim single soul occupancy. Now, you can do that for another person who has an addiction, or anything else going on where they have an entity, and literally, it's literally like saying, entity, you have no right to be here. It's against the free will of this being, me or someone else who's giving consent. So we command, under the law of intent, consent, and authority, you must leave now. Period. That's it, you must leave. Law of intent, consent, and authority, come in here. Do your work. Thank you. Entity, be gone. You must leave under the law. You're using the law. And you can say, I am a sovereign being. I claim single soul occupancy. So just by saying those words, the entity has to go. The law steps in. Even if the entity doesn't go on its own free will, the law will do it and clear it. It's a very easy, a matter of a few words. Now you can't do it for another person unless they give consent. But you can do it for a child under the age of 17 if it's your child. Because under the age of 17, you're their parent. And under the law, in the universal laws, you have claimed responsibility. They're not a sovereign being in a sense. They are, but they're not. You, in this reality, have consent to do it for a child. That's your child, not someone else's, not your grandchild, under the age of 17. And your animal companion, you can do it for your animal. Yeah?
What is the law again? I'm sorry, law of consent.
Intent, consent, and authority. It knows itself as the law of free will. You can call it law of free will. You don't even have to call on the law. That's the thing that's so beautiful about the law. It does it. It's the law. It knows it's the law. It's just humans over here don't even know about it. They don't know, do we have free will or don't we have free will? That's the discussion over here in 3D. Is free will real? You know, even when you're kind of crossing through what is the fourth dimensional realm, which fourth dimension is just consciousness. It's a non-physical realm where you become conscious that thoughts are real. You become conscious of emotions. You become conscious of entities, demonics, angels, benevolence. There's all kinds of stuff going on here in this non-physical realm. That's fourth dimensional realm. It's, oh, is time real or did we create time? How does time get created? That's, oh, astral travel. Oh, I can fit a remote viewing. Everyone know what remote viewing is? That's all going on in the fourth dimensional realm. What else is here? What the frick knows? Entities, demonic, dead people, they don't live here. It's just this is a field of consciousness that we interact with, that we have to work through. And, oh, there's emotions over here. Where does hate go? Where does hate come from? It's energy. Where does love? It's all frequencies and vibrations. And there's a range here because the law of polarity is still polarizing these, right? You got the densest, heaviest, you got the lightest. In order to get the 5D, you got to pass through here. You got to get past all the judgments, the fears, da-da-da-da-da-da. So anyway, where was I going with that? I lost myself. Oh, the law is still on a sixth-dimensional field governing this reality, so it's not like you have to call the law in. You just start saying it's against my free will. Here's the thing about using the against my free will. And by the way, you use for my free will. It is my free will and intention and desire that the waters of this earth are cleared. I bless all waters. I bless all the waters of the earth right now. Every water, every ocean, cleared, healed, blessed in the divine source love. Bathe it. Bathe it in infinite love. Right? You're a commander. You're a creator. But here's the challenge with the something's against my free will is, and I know this was started from the entities, but the challenge of that is that if you're entangled with it, if you're enmeshed with it, if you start wrestling with it, now you get knotted in it. You understand? So the moment you say that's against my free will, if you're in a struggling match, like I can tell a bully, stop bullying me, you're bullying me. And if I'm still playing at that, oh, you're bullying me, he's going to, you're a baby. Right, now I've just played the game, you understand? Oh, that's slip off my chair. Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. If you're still engaged in it, wrestling with it, fighting with it, it doesn't matter if you say it's against my free will, because the law of free will is energy. So it's going, from an energetic point of view, you're still engaged energetically. You have to be neutral. This is the law of balance. What's the law of balance? Restores balance. You have to be in a sacred neutral, which is also sometimes referred to as a 0 point. You guys heard that terminology? That's a sacred neutral zone where divine neutrality, you're no longer resisting, reacting, judging. You're just, it's against my free will for the waters to continue to be poisoned.
Is that sort of like observation?
No, because observation happens here and here. This is, your sacred neutral is the totality of your being. That energetic space has nothing to hook in. You could say certain things to me right now. You could tell me, this is a good example, not that I would want you to, but you could say to me, you're stupid, you're dumb, and I'd be like, wow, that means nothing to me because I know that's not true. I have absolutely no hook into that belief system.
There's no charge on anything.
There's no charge. And this is the whole thing. In 5D, the name of the game is to have no charge. Over here, everybody's pissed off. They're judging. They're making things right. They're making things wrong. Even the Me Too movement. What is that whole Me Too movement? Someone did something wrong to me. I'm a woman. I'm standing up. But there's a charge. So you're just going to keep playing that game. You're not done with the game until you can come into this neutrality. Neutrality isn't something that you think. It's something that you be. You are. You start to realize you're more in this feminine energy of, yeah, this is just all a very beautiful experience. There's some things I will never agree to. I will never consent to. I will never, ever, ever give my consent to animals being abused. But I refuse to get pulled into the pain and the suffering that people are perpetuating on animals by showing all these horrific pictures of what's happening to them. That's just pulling me into that charge. Now, do I like it? Do I love it? Do I bless it? No. But I'm in a neutral zone where I realize through my neutrality I can be a greater part of the source as a solution. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Did that help you with the entity thing? All right, awesome.
Quick question about the entity. You're saying that it's a being, but can you also do that in your home?
Yes. You can clear your home in the same way.
Just a quick same way.
Pretty much the same way. I mean, with the home, you claim sovereignty over this space, this energetic space. It's rightfully yours in this reality. It is your space. And you can claim sovereignty over any space. You can claim sovereignty over the space that you're sitting in, the chair.
Right.
You can, when you're in a collective group, you can claim sovereignty over a room collectively. The collective has to agree in that sense. Yeah. That's a good question. Okay, any other questions, comments, feedback, anything?
Can you do it on your husband's or your...
No.
Wives?
That you cannot do. You cannot do something for someone else without their conscious consent. But there comes a point as a light worker. Who in here, do you guys all know this term light worker? Mm-hmm. No, some people not? Okay, you all do or no? All right, so as a light worker, a star seed, I'm a star seed. I can define that. Hello, you're welcome to join us. Over here, you start having so much power, you can do it globally, which we will do some in here if it turns into that. If it gets, so it becomes, you actually can do it for your lineage, for your family, but it has to be coming from this state of divine neutrality, not I want this for him, this is my will. You understand? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But it's amazing when we come into this space here, how much clearing we can do for our lineage because now it's source doing it aligned with the law of one. Law of one steps in. When you do it with the law of one, it starts shifting it for everyone in your collective. Does that make sense?
So you saying a light worker, and that's someone that is, define what a light worker
Yeah.
is.
So I'll give you two definitions of, there's light workers right now. A light worker, to me, there's two kinds of light workers. You have your everyday light worker. They walk through the grocery store and they just drop pearls of wisdom. They just do gooders.
Okay.
They pay genuine, sincere compliments. They pick up dirt off the ground and they know that they're doing good and they care. But they're still functioning from 3D consciousness, but they're doing good. They're trying their best. They're of service. They're volunteering. That's a light worker. They're caring, they're being forgiving, they're being compassionate, they're doing the best they can in this world. That's a light worker. Then you have another kind of light worker, and those light workers are en masse right now. They've been working in very full force, really since the 60s. And now growing in numbers. And those are light workers who have been prepared for this evolutionary shift of consciousness that we've been talking about all night. And they are working with the light. What is the light? Divine source. The light, that's what it means to be enlightened. They are enlightened beings, we are. And we're working with source in the non-physical realm. We're healers, we're intuitives, but to me, a light worker in this way, and there's lots of ways to define it, but we literally are serving the divine to the best of our ability to bring in the light into this physical reality and to help up-level people out of this old perpetual program. It's not even perpetual, it's this old paradigm that's coming to an end. You know, it's just too dense. Shining the light. So that's a light worker. Then starseed. And who's familiar with the term starseed in here? If you've heard me, you know. I'm a starseed. So a starseed are people who identify as benevolent beings from the stars. We actually have within our consciousness a very real memory of living on off planet. We understand that we were seeded here into human bodies through periods of life cycles, and that this time would come where humanity was ready to go through this shift, and that our role would be to work with beings in the galaxy, benevolent beings, to help through this evolutionary shift. We identify ourselves not just as humans, but actually as star beings, benevolent. So this concept that extraterrestrials are here helping us is actually true. It's actually true, but the reason people don't know them, are there are there ETs, are they real? Well, they don't know because they don't have a concept over here that it could actually be someone walking right next to you. Do you know what I mean? It's like a foreign concept. You're still looking for some kind of ship. And it's not that those things don't exist, because they do. They do too. But, make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
You said that you knew that you were star-seeded. What if, just recently I've been going to a psychic developmental class, and the teacher there told us basically, she went through this book, a list, and telling us that we were all star-seeded people, and helping us understand more our purpose and why we were there.
Yes.
So if we didn't know, but now we're sort of more open and aware of that, then is that considered, because you said you knew you were.
Yes.
But if we're at that point of opening up and realizing, oh, wait a minute, things did happen, there is a possibility there are ETs, and that before you didn't want to acknowledge it.
Well, here's how I understand this, is we're all star families. We are all, every human on Earth is genetically hybrid of many star races. The first two strands of your DNA are primarily what we would identify with reptilian, draconian, and gray. Those are alien races that are generally not very benevolent. We wouldn't define them necessarily as very benevolent. They vibrate in harmony with fear, domination, and control. We all have that in us. Though they are our ancestors, and that's part of what the reptilian brainstem is. So everyone has some extraterrestrial. We also, beyond the first two strands of DNA, have at least, we didn't talk about the DNA tonight, but that's one of my hot topics, you know. We have at least 10 more strands of DNA, and that has additional star memory, star races. As we activate our dormant DNA, that's dormant, that memory comes online more. And we have all kinds of star DNA from star families. We have to activate that within us. So as it gets activated, you start coming online, you know it more. It doesn't sound so foreign anymore. And as you're awakening to this. The thing is that it's this awakening process, in my experience, and from everything I know, is happening in like waves. So if you think of the wave concept, the way it's happening is, first, where does the wave begin and where does the wave end? You don't exactly know, right? But the concept is in the 60s, you had all these hippies kind of paving the way. They're pre-wavers. I'd call those as pre-wavers. Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer, Louise Hay, JFK, MLK, the Beatles, pre-wavers, Gandhi, pre-wavers, laying the foundation for what was to come, knowing that humanity at that time had no concept of love, or they needed that. That was that whole hippie movement and everything going on in the 60s, laying the foundation into the 70s, and even leading up until 2012. But then you had like a first waiver round, and these first waivers are authentic star seeds in the sense that we literally were embodied into human body, that we're as much human as we are star race, programmed, remember we talked about programs, implanted in some ways, energetically implanted to wake up ahead of the rest of the group, to help, to be willing to be the crazy ones, the woo-woo ones, the loony ones, the ones that everybody judged and said was, wrong, through the first wave, which was really started prior to 2011. By 2011, first waivers, already all healers, already doing it for a living, already psychics, really aware that 2012 was going to be a pivotal moment of shifting consciousness. So by 2012, that was when, again, I'm sort of saying this linearly, but it's like a wave. Where does it begin? Where does it end? That was the second waivers start to come online. Second waivers are waking up now. Second waivers are just starting to take classes in the Akashic Records or taking psychic development classes. They're learning about this. They're like, am I a starseed? Was I? Yes, because some part of you is. Your DNA is getting activated. You're starting to wake up. Second waivers bring it in to third waivers. Third waivers still here, completely asleep. No idea anything's going on. Same old on planet Earth, other than the government's corrupt. And there's no better or worse here. It's different jobs, different timing, different roles, what the soul came to experience, how the soul wanted to serve. Does that make sense? So, by the way, all of this is written into the Akashic Records. It's easy to find out in your records, this kind of information, and it's in your DNA. And some people kind of think the DNA can sort of be activated and turned on just by thinking it. I personally don't really agree with that because it is based on vibrational frequency. So just because you start waking up over here and being like, oh yeah, I'm going to turn on my DNA, and you just think it's done, like it's a vibrational frequency. So over here, if you're still in this dense, heavy frequency of energy, there's not a lot of power here. But over here, there's instant power, right? Instant divine source consciousness. So you're using high frequency energy to activate and awaken yourself, or with the help of healers, intuitives, starseeds, light workers. Make sense? So the objective is, as you awaken your DNA, you're activating your inner knowing, your inner gifts, your superhuman abilities. They're all stored within you. They're stored within your records. But you need high light frequency to do that. So you're in the presence of someone who's holding, in that class, who's got more light. She's a light worker of some kind, and she's helping others to awaken. Does that help? You always get a long answer with me.
No, I thank you, because 2012, that makes sense to
Yes.
me.
That's why over here, the sphere-based reality, everyone thought it meant the world was going to come to an end. Why? Because the controllers in this reality wanted that to be fear-based, so they could keep people trapped by fear. So they create these movies because they do control the movie studios and all the money that goes through those movie studios. So it serves the global agenda to create these movies that are going to perpetuate fear and war and fighting. I will say, watching those kinds of programs entangle you in that energy of war and fighting and fear. That's why it's not an illusion. If you watch war fighting movies, you actually have those kinds of experiences more often. Make sense? Because of creating. Cool. Okay. All right. We're not so bad with time because I was saying 3 hours. Any other questions? Do you guys want to take a break or done with questions?
I don't know what is going on with me. I am having some sort of awakening. That's the best way I can describe it. But something interesting, flu season. I've only taken the flu shot once and it made me terribly sick. So I decided not to take it again. I work in an office with about 20 people, and everyone panicked and ran to get that flu shot. I didn't. And for a few weeks we lived in a cloud of Lysol because everybody was afraid. Oh gosh, it was such panic. Everyone started getting the flu. And I didn't. And it was, I cannot explain why I did not get the flu. I just knew that I didn't have to get that flu shot. And that no matter how many bottles of Lysol and alcohol and things people brought in, I was not doing any of that, and I did not get the flu.
So let's talk about this with the laws, and then I do want to talk about flu shots. So the process of getting a flu shot puts you in resistance and reaction and entanglement. I don't want the flu. Now I'm in this resistance reaction. So that's going to entangle us in the flu. The very thing we judge, resist, react, or make bad or wrong, we attract into our lives. That's why you didn't resist it or react. You didn't feel the need. You didn't get entangled in it in the same way. But on the periphery, it was still there. Can you see? So from a universal law perspective, these people, they basically, creator, I don't want the flu, I don't want the flu. They go, they radiate that out, they get involved in people, I don't want the flu, now I'm attracting back, I don't want the flu. Now they're in this game, right? That's just universal laws playing on that field, right? But on another level, the conspiracy is real. It's not a theory. So the idea of flu shots and all immunizations, basically they shut down the DNA. So by getting immunizations, they are stopping the DNA. They can never do it permanently. You can always clear this up. There's nothing source can't heal and resolve. Nothing that source cannot do. And as we align with source, there is nothing it cannot heal and resolve. It doesn't matter if they tell you it's done or, right? But over here, by taking a flu shot or any other immunization, it stops the DNA. It interferes with the DNA from activating. That is the purpose of flu shots. It is one of the purposes, in addition to stopping reproduction. It's part of population control over here. This is what's going on in this reality. People aren't being told the truth. They don't know. They're just being brainwashed through the TV. You need a flu shot, which nothing could be further from the truth. Because what's in those flu shots is it's worse than the flu. It's human DNA, animal DNA, all kinds of things to mess with your DNA, and all kinds of toxic chemicals, the worst kinds of toxins. We don't have to go into that. That you can do the research yourself. Most humans don't take the time. They just believe what they're told. That's what happens when you give your power away over here. All right, but let's not even go there. We can understand from the law, universal law, how that happened, right? But let's just say that your body within you, as you're going through, what you started your comment with was, I'm going through some kind of awakening. And that's exactly right. Your inner knowing is starting to come online. That inner knowing knows you don't need that. That is not really serving you in the highest and best ways. So you followed your inner knowing, and it served you well, because you got to be a witness to how that's no longer part of what you need. And the most amazing thing is that your demonstration, to whatever degree you interacted with your colleagues in some kind of consciousness, like, I didn't get it this year, and I didn't get sick, isn't that funny? That's triggering them in some way.